The kingdom's now called the Kinky Carry Kingdom.
Oh, the KKK.
Take it away, Dalton.
All right. Welcome to the Extremely Low Budget podcast. We're not doing episode numbers, so
This is 9.
do I have to introduce who we all are? Or
Yep,
does everyone
with funny names too.
with funny names?
Funny, relevant to the episode names. It can't just be.
Here, I've got this.
Derek's. I got a couple. I got.
Okay,
I got.
You do yours and then I'll do mine.
We got Falcor, D-Man over here.
Ooh. You're Falcor.
I hate you.
Okay, that's all I got. Go ahead.
All right. This week with us, it's been a while since we've all seen each other. That last episode we recorded, a mere 5 minutes ago, so it's been a while. With us this week is the giant shit monster Derek.
Nice.
We've got the one with the limp hand Alex. Man, Dalton's is a tough one.
Suck dragon.
Yeah, we got Suck Dragon Dalton.
Suck Dragon Dalton.
And I guess you got me, the demonic possessed worm Kyle.
Penis.
Yeah, the little...
Jesus. Oh, penis boy.
He turns into one at the end too when he slides up that chick's vag.
Oh my god.
God bless it.
He cosplays as a penis.
This week is our special Thanksgiving extravaganza. Last week we talked about movies that we're thankful for, and today on the Day of Thanks, it's obvious that we're going to talk about movies that we're not thankful for. Every movie you hear us talk about today, we hate.
I don't hate mine.
Dislike strongly.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't hate mine in the sense that it's a movie I will never watch. I hate mine in the sense that it's the worst of the bunch of the franchise it belongs to.
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
also
yeah,
one of the
that's
worst
fair.
movies I've seen in terms of just it's bad. But it's not like I wouldn't say this is like my least favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
I think actually Dalton picked my least favorite movie ever.
Oh my god. Oh well.
I'm glad we agree.
That's what I'm saying. Well, we'll get there. Last week we went in alphabetical order. Get ready. It's party time, motherfucker. This is reverse alphabetical order.
Oh!
Yeah, you thought we went one way last week. We're doing it a whole new way. Shaking things up.
Sorry,
The exact
I picked the mic
opposite.
Right there. Sorry,
Big
viewers.
time. It's just a solid block of scream right there. So that means that I'm going to start, and we're going to go backwards through Derek, Dalton, then Alex. Now, the movie that I chose to talk about this week is one of the movies that I hate more than anything on the face of the earth. It's not the worst movie that's ever been made, but I mean, it's damn near one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. A little movie called Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday. Now, to explain why I hate this movie so much, I'm going to take you and put you into mine and Derek's shoes from about 10 years ago when we very first saw this movie. It was Super Bowl Sunday. Who cares who
Took
the hell
us
was
longer
playing?
than Super Bowl Sunday. We had to rent it from Blockbuster.
For this one?
Mhm.
No.
We did have to rent this
No,
from
we
Blockbuster.
watched this one that same night. Yeah.
They didn't have it. They only had it up to Part 8 on demand. They
No,
were-
you just had to pay for the rest. And so we paid on demand for this one.
Let the record show that I don't support the
Jesus.
notion that we watched this movie on Super Bowl Sunday.
Okay, well, regardless, we had finally been given permission to watch the Friday the 13th franchise as we lasses that we were. And we had really idolized this without knowing anything about it other than Jason was in it.
We knew that Pamela Voorhees was the killer in Part 1 because we had seen Scream before this.
Yeah. But, I mean, we really went in just real excited to watch all these movies. And in particular, as much as we loved everything we had seen up to this point, we had gotten to Part 8, which is a movie called Jason Takes Manhattan. And we were both so excited to watch Jason go around and slaughter the people of Manhattan. And when we turned that on, we were so disappointed that Jason was on a boat for the whole movie and didn't actually kill anybody in Manhattan. that I was like, the only way we can go from here is up, because this is the stupidest movie I've ever seen. Like, Jason on a boat, who cares? Jason in Manhattan, that would have been cool. So we were both so disappointed. The next movie in line is Jason Goes to Hell. And I went in with no expectations. I wasn't expecting to see Jason kill the people in hell, because I knew that's not what it was going to be about. I just knew that at the end of the movie, Jason was supposedly definitively killed off. So that's like all the preconceived notion that I had for this movie. But when we actually sat down and watched it, I was, thrown on a roller coaster of a ride when Jason dies in the first 10 minutes of this movie.
Not even.
Not even. It's like 3 to 5 minutes in, he gets blown to hell by the CIA. The FBI.
You know what I hate about this beginning part most of all?
What's that?
Is that they have to get the girl naked.
Because that's the only way Jason kills, dude. He's never killed a close person in his life.
That's the only part that I liked about this.
Really? Because there's even more.
And it's my favorite part of the movie. It's the only part that piques my interest. No, that's not true. The kills are pretty good, but...
Yeah, so... Jason Voorhees is killed in the very beginning of this movie. And in an operating table... The guy examining the body, for some reason, feels the urge to just bust into Jason's chest, rip out his heart, and eat it. Therefore, becoming Jason.
Oh yeah, fun fact, Dalton didn't get time to watch this movie, so this is his first exposure to it.
Yeah, and at some point in the future, we will probably review the Friday the 13th movies, and Dalton will probably say he'll be there, and then he won't be, so...
When did I do that?
He'll never see.
I can't think of 7 episodes that you did that.
I didn't say I was going to be to any of those.
Other than Predator and Slenderman.
So, Jason is not in this movie. It's a series of people turning into Jason.
That's the worst part.
And then there's a couple of them that get the Jason power who you're like, stick with this one because he's at least tolerable. Like the cop at the end, and then he switches again. And again.
And it's just, the movie is filmed so poorly. It's like so dark the whole time, and it drags on, and no one gives a shit.
It's incredibly boring.
Like, the story, who cares? It's like, they're trying too much. I think it involves something about, like, Jason's relatives.
Yeah, okay, so
it does.
So here's what it is, right? Is, for whatever reason, they decided that the first 8 Friday the 13ths, that's not how it goes, right? Apparently, Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mom, had a sister. Right? Is it a sister? It is a sister. She had a sister, and the sister has a daughter.
Yes.
Okay? So now, Jason turns... Basically, they were like, well, we need a motivation for Jason to be Jason in this movie outside of his motivations from the previous 8, because, again... it's apparently not cutting it. So all of a sudden, they turn him into Michael Myers, and he's like, well, now I gotta off my bloodline, because I have the Jason curse. And because the Necronomicon from Evil Dead apparently possessed... we don't know, it's there in the movie. So, yeah.
It is.
It's in the movie. Jason, alright, so Jason has to kill off his bloodline. That's the plot of the movie. And the way he has to do it is by possessing different people.
Can I give you a quick trivia about the Necronomicon? So it's a prop created by Tom Sullivan for the Evil Dead, and Sam Raimi, which is relevant.
Which is our Spider-Man director, hell yeah.
Sent a letter asking Sullivan to forgive him for not asking permission to borrow Sullivan's Evil Dead props for the film. And then Tom Sullivan said he was not paid and would never again loan out props without granting permission.
For this movie?
That's what it says.
Why did Sam Raimi loan the props for this movie?
It just said Sam Raimi sent a letter asking Sullivan to forgive him for not asking permission to borrow Sullivan's Evil Dead props for this film.
Weird. Sam
Raimi work
was he
on this?
involved in this movie?
That's a good question.
What a big mistake that would have been on his part. He's usually like a pretty good director.
Well, he definitely didn't direct this, that's for sure.
Oh, no.
And this movie's got the most generic-ass soundtrack you've heard in your life.
No, I don't think he did.
This movie, yeah.
It doesn't look like he did.
Yeah,
What the hell?
Weird. Maybe whoever wrote that trivia fact had it backwards, and the guy who borrowed the prop wrote a letter to Sam Raimi apologizing for it.
I think that's what it is.
That's what I assumed.
Because after I had read that a couple times, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess what Sam Raimi tried to use it So what? Sam Raimi tried to use it, and then
Other way around. Sam Raimi created the prop. Tom Sullivan took it.
No,
Or
Tom
borrowed
Sullivan
it.
created it. Tom Sullivan, I believe that is the actual guy who designed the special effects for Evil Dead, including the Necronomicon. Check if he worked on this movie, because that would
Who?
solve the case. Tom Sullivan.
Tom Sullivan.
Because it would make sense that Sam Raimi would own the Necronomicon. So if they used it in this movie, it would make sense that
No,
Raimi would
he
be able to
didn't.
get upset.
Huh.
Neither of them did it.
What
Worked
on
on this
earth
movie.
is happening? I don't understand.
Maybe
what's
they
going
asked.
on.
Maybe they asked Raimi
And he
to
was
use
like,
the prop,
"Fine,
and
I
Raimi
don't
was
care."
like, "Yeah, go ahead and use it." And then he was like, "I'm so sorry, Tom Sullivan. You created a masterpiece that's been shit on in this poopy."
Oh, but you
movie."
remember what else about this poopy movie? There's that great scene when they go to the diner and they're making Jason patties.
Oh my god, it's so.
How have you not
bad.
talked about the scene where they go to Crystal Lake, and they camp out there?
That happened. Oh, right. That's the best scene in the movie, honestly. Because it's got the coolest kill of the movie, but it's
Is
also
this at
the
like
most-
the very end?
It's also the most
No.
gratuitous
No?
kill of the movie,
No.
like needlessly gratuitous.
Okay, there's one kill that I love so much.
With is it the one where he right?
No, well, I mean, okay, so that
That's fun
one's
for the audience. You know the one.
there's the scene that I had mentioned that you missed was they go to Crystal Lake, and there's the two girls and the guy that are camping there, and this is I don't know, it's still towards the beginning when what's his name is driving to the Voorhees house.
When what do we call him in Predator? Nerdy white cuck.
Yeah,
Something
nerdy
like
white
that?
cuck.
Okay, when nerdy white cuck in this movie,
And like three teenagers
they're going to bang at Crystal Lake.
yeah, because Voorhees is dead, whatever, so they're like they don't have to worry about getting murdered or whatever. So they go and camp out there, and then the one of the girls and the guy end up going in the tent to bang, and they bang once, and the other girl's like laying outside, whatever, and then she decides to go piss, and then Jason comes and murders her, and then they decide to go for round two.
Jason?
No, other
no.
Yeah,
it's
I was gonna say.
this is the doctor.
The doctor.
Aiden.
Yeah, it's the doctor.
Who
So
ate
this
the
is
heart.
this is early in. This
Yeah.
is I think the only other kill that we've seen Jason do, not Jason do, is
The
that
two
guy
guards?
who's like got his head and like looking through the car and Jason pops his head with the car door.
Quit calling him Jason. I don't like that. This
And-
isn't Jason.
And Doctor
It's a
pops his head
dumb
with the
word.
car door.
There
Now
you go.
Doctor, this is where Doctor
No, that
gets
was
his
the
other
girl. That
kills.
was the funniest kill.
That's the funniest kill. That's brutal.
Wait, which one is this?
Right. So earlier in the movie, Doctor's leaving hospital. I think he's leaving.
Are you talking
hospital.
about the two like guards that are?
No,
he kills
because they're
those.
already dead by this point. They're already dead. It's when that girl's getting in her car. It's either a girl or a guy's getting in the car, and then like Jason or Doctor grabs him and puts his head in the car door and smashes his head in.
No, that's not what happens. Cause
That's
there's
not what happens?
No, there's the
I remember this movie
no,
so
no,
bad
you're,
that I
okay.
can't even remember the kills.
There's the wife and the guy. I forget. He's like a guard or something. And it doesn't make much sense. But the wife drives up to pick him up and leave, and he's getting in the car and she's about to get in the car, and he just walks over and it shows like a first person view, and then all of a sudden it cuts like right to like a split second where it like slams her head in the door,
Yeah.
and then it cuts away right immediately. It's so funny.
Okay, so then they're at Crystal Lake, right? And they're banging. This is the best kill of the movie for sure. Is when the chick's on top of the guy, right?
I'm just gonna...
And Jason opens up the tent, and he has this street sign, and he just sticks it straight through her back, and then pulls it up
There
through
it is.
her, and it splits her body in half.
Yeah. No matter what, this is the stupidest movie, the worst slasher movie I've ever seen in my entire life.
I was at least hoping for Jason to be like running around in hell or something, you know?
You know,
Like,
at the end,
actually
Anything
Jason goes
other
to
than-
hell.
whenever he's
what you
Jason in
get.
the movie, it's not that bad.
For the whole, 2 seconds at the beginning?
For the whole two, and then at the end but then at the end he doesn't really do much, does he?
No,
He can't
not
kill.
really.
He can't kill generic nerdy cuck.
Yeah, which is stupid. He just toys with him, which is
Jason
no
wouldn't
for
do
no
that.
reason.
Ugh.
And then, okay, the best scene in the movie, right? So the Voorhees family. Your main character is the daughter of Jason. By this point, Jason,
The daughter
daughter of Jason's. Okay, she's Jason's
Cousin?
I guess technically, right? Before this,
Messy.
you have not Jason. One of the not Jasons, I don't remember which one, goes into the diner and kills everyone. and they're getting away. And then he goes to the police station. He kills them there, which is pretty cool, I guess. and then he's a cop at this point. Cop Jason goes to the whatever house they're at, the not Voorhees house. I don't know what it is. And then he's like, so he's trying to possess his cousin. Mm-hmm. The cousin has a baby though, right?
Yeah, a little baby.
I don't know what that has to do with anything. Halloween 6 is all over this movie. And Jason's like, at this point, his aunt is dead, and she falls into the cellar and is dead. And
no. She dies, but they take her body for some reason. I can't remember why.
Oh, because they can't let him get to it. Otherwise, he can rebirth himself. If he gets
it was that weird dude that the Voorhees girl was seeing that ends up dying. He's like talking on the phone when Nerdy White Cuck is like hiding in the closet, and he's like, "Oh, we took her body or something," and I don't remember why he said they did.
I think it was to try and prevent Jason from catching it.
No, I don't think they knew about that.
Oh, you're right. They didn't. Because then, so it's a big reveal then, right? Because he goes through the floor and they're like, oh, they can't get us now. Because he turns himself into a worm, which is the soul of Jason. And then he's in the cellar and they're like, we beat him or whatever. And then they're like, no, we didn't. That's where the body of his...
Because the only person that knew that was Nerdy White Cuck.
Right. And he's like, that's where the body of his aunt is. And then you get like the POV shot of Jason as the little worm crawling his way right between this chick's legs, and he shoots himself into her vag, and then he busts out the floor as Jason.
Yeah.
Real great.
So now at this point, there's only two people that could kill Jason: her daughter and
right, because you need a Voorhees
daughter
to kill him, right?
Yeah.
And they have like a Kandarian dagger that is like the Jason dagger.
Yeah.
That was also an Evil Dead prop, if I'm not mistaken.
And we're missing the like bounty hunter guy. Which
I
was
forgot
really dumb.
He's in this movie.
Yeah, because at first he's like, yeah, I'll tell you how to kill him. $5,000.
And he knows all of the he has Adrian Brody's from Predator's superpower, which is knowing everything that's convenient to the plot.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and then he's in jail with the Nerdy White Cuck, and for some reason he just tells him everything.
Yeah.
Just by breaking his fingers. And it's like, so first you wanted like $5,000 for the answers, and now you're just gonna tell this guy just by breaking all his fingers in jail? For what reason? Why?
Terrible fucking movie.
Yeah, but then at the end, they stab Jason with the Kandarian dagger. All these souls are coming up out of the ground. It's a pretty good effect scene.
It's not bad.
The puppets, it looks cool. I like it. And they're pulling him into hell. And then, so he goes in, he gets sucked into hell, and Nerdy White Cuck's about to get dragged down with him or whatever, and he gets out. And then Jason gets sucked under, and he like looks up, and his mask gets pulled off. And then Freddy's hand comes and pulls it down.
Yeah.
It's your.
That's like an after.
It's like a stinger at the end.
Yeah, because I think they show like the Nerdy White Cuck and the Voorhees girl like make up and they get back together. Because that's her kid is Nerdy White Cuck's kid too. But they broke up because
didn't know that.
Yeah, they broke up and because there's a scene where like he wants to go see his daughter and everything. But anyway, so yeah, they broke up and then she was with this other guy. And then by the end of the movie, they get back together because they kill Jason or whatever.
Yeah, and then...
But, yeah.
Yeah, and then Freddy's hand pulls it... It's like in Predator 2 when you got the alien skulls on the wall.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, look,
this could come later. Completely more obvious reference.
And it's like, it's got the laugh.
Yeah.
You know, something funny is that was actually going to be a much more elaborate Freddy vs. Jason, where Freddy and Jason are fighting in hell with Pinhead.
that's the ending.
Really? Yeah, that was going to be the end of Freddy vs. Jason, but they were going to
get dragged down to hell together at the end of Freddy vs. Jason. You're going to get dragged down to hell together, and then like your devil would be, or someone would be like, let the games continue, and they'd get like webbed up by chains, and they'd be like trying to pull themselves out of the chains, and then it'd be revealed that it was Pinhead, and it was like, welcome to hell. But anyways, this movie. Yeah. I like how both of us like took over because you didn't watch your movie.
Well, It doesn't
I
matter.
don't blame you. It's not worthwhile. I didn't
It's
watch it
so
either. I just
bad.
remember it. I just remember.
Well, and
it well.
I had watched it most recent, so I remember
Yeah.
a lot of it.
Like
but-
every single time I marathon the Friday the 13th movies, I'll get to this point and never finish. There's like 2 movies it's this one, Jason X, Freddy vs. Jason, the remake.
We never finished those.
Never get through those because this movie is so
It's
bad
the new
that
line
we like
hero that we never make it through.
we never watch it. And it's not even that the rest of them are that bad. Jason X it's a stupid movie, but it's fine. Freddy vs. Jason, I like it. Derek doesn't, but it's watchable. And then the remake is pretty good. But it's like, if I ever try and marathon these, I get to Jason Goes to Hell, and the marathon just ends there because I never watched this movie.
You could skip it and be fine.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. But then it's not a complete marathon.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, terrible movie. It was hard to watch.
I mean,
It was-
name a slasher movie that's worse than this. Derek's going to say Halloween 2 Rob Zombie version,
Oh,
but it's
yeah.
not.
Halloween 2 Rob's on. I was actually thinking Halloween 6. But
No, those are
you're-
both
I
so
would
much better
rather
than
watch-
this one.
I think I would rather watch Ant-Man spy on changing ladies than I'd rather watch this.
Well, and then one thing that really bothered me is you got to get like all the chicks naked, like the sex scene and everything.
It's nowhere near
It's
as
like, come on.
gratuitous as
No, you're right. You're
the Rob
right.
Zombies.
You're right, but it's still like why does he have to kill them while they're like doing it in the tent?
That's the coolest scene of the movie.
Well, yeah, but she could just be like sitting up in the tent and he like stabs through the tent and they have to make it so sexualized. And
I like
you see
it
a lot
because you
of
get
boobs.
to like see her body split in half.
Sure.
Whereas if she had clothes
Sure.
on, it'd be a little less impactful. But even then, it's like, yeah, she could have had a bra, I guess. But it would have gotten torn off anyway, so who cares?
No, it's
I
just
don't.
like there, like especially at
Yeah.
the beginning, and then there was other
Alex, any
scenes.
opportunity to have titties in a movie?
Yeah, there were other scenes. I can't remember exactly what, but they just like they had to have their top off or something, and it was like, come on.
I actually only remember this chick being topless in the movie, and the chick at the beginning.
The beginning, yeah.
FBI.
I know there was another one, at least one more, but I can't remember now. Anyway.
It's a lot. It's a lot more tasteless than in the rest of the Friday movies, where it's still not like artsy nude, but it's
Yeah.
like this one feels much more exploitative than the others.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep, I'm not thankful for that movie.
Yep. We can
I'm
all
glad
agree.
you talked the most about it too.
Yeah, you guys really took off. It seems like you guys hate it just as much.
I remember that movie so vividly, and I don't know why.
I don't remember it like at all. I know enough about it to know how much I hate it, but every single time I watch it, it's like I zone out and I'm like, I can't even pay attention to this shit.
It's because I think the last time we watched it, we were writing the script for Cloudy,
We were.
and I kept getting distracted by the movie itself, so I think I was paying more attention to the movie than anything else.
I don't know how that's possible.
Welcome the air conditioner back to another episode of the Extremely Low Budget Podcast.
Yep. Yeah, so now we're moving on to Derek's movie. Derek, what movie are you not thankful for?
I'm not thankful for the 1971 flick Godzilla vs. Hedorah.
I honestly forgot which one he chose, and then
I'm
I realized that we watched
literally
it
watched
today.
it.
Literally
Like hours ago.
literally. I'm holding to it.
I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, so this movie, right? It's Godzilla's, I think, 10th or 11th film. It's the first of the 70s, and it shows, right? This is a 70s movie.
Oh, yeah, very much 70s.
yeah.
It's a very
Yeah.
70s movie right here.
I mean, you're tripping on acid the whole time.
I was
you're
gonna say,
watching.
I can't
Oh, yeah,
really
for sure.
describe this movie without it being like, here's a plot by plot, and there's not really a plot in this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
It's
Yeah.
mostly just.
I was doing
oh,
astronomy homework, but I feel like I could have still picked up some plot if there was any.
It's mostly just a random assortment of scenes that are sort of connected to one another.
Here's what I'll say. This is the most elaborate PSA announcement I've ever seen in my
Seriously.
life. Do not pollute, Dalton. God damn it.
Yeah,
enough.
for sure.
We don't want. We don't
Save
want
the
an
Earth,
alien
Dalton.
turd
Christ.
monster to kill us. And what is it? This movie, it's like it can't decide whether it wants to be a Godzilla movie or whether it wants to be a children's educational variety show, where it'll be like, what do kids love? Oh, they love cartoons, so it'll just start playing cartoons. Or it's like, how do we teach our children? Oh, we'll just cut to an abrupt lesson about nebulas and comets and how they form. And nothing in this movie makes any sense. Like, I don't. There's so many scenes too when there's like long extended periods of silence. There's one sequence when Hedorah is flying right around his first reveal, and it's like he's flying over all these people and they're all disintegrating into skeletons. But then you have one construction worker who's like standing on a big building, and Hedorah charges at him, and he kills himself. He jumps off, and you just watch him fall in silence, and then he hits the ground and turns to skeletons because Hedorah flies over him. And then there's like a full 30 seconds where you just watch a building collapse slowly in silence. Like, there's so many quiet parts of this movie that don't have any soundtrack or anything to make it entertaining. This movie sucks.
I was gonna say I have a bunch. I like pulled up all the trivia facts for it, but I'm sure you're gonna know like all of them.
Try me. Okay, hold on. Here's some of the fun facts I had. The most funnest of fun facts is when you look at Hedorah's eyes. What do these eyes look like?
Oh,
fella?
I told you.
Oh yeah, the badges.
Hedorah is the only kaiju with vagina eyes, and the reason for
Is that confirmed?
Because the
Okay.
director was asked about it, and his quote is I'm going to paraphrase because I don't know his direct quote, but it's something along the lines of, "Name something scarier than a vagina. You can't. They're freaky." And that's so he's like,
He's like your character in our show.
Yeah.
Icky.
I stuck him on my giant alien turd monster because it's horrifying.
Alright, what about the sequel?
Okay, so there was going to be a sequel called Godzilla vs. the Space Monsters. I believe that's what the name was.
This one's here it says Godzilla versus Gigan.
Gigan.
Gigan?
That's what it. Okay, so that's what it turns into.
Oh, okay.
is
Oh no, it says right here. Okay, yeah.
Originally, it was going to be Godzilla vs. the Space Monsters. You were going to have like Hedorah return and a couple others, but then a new director came on board. I think it's Jun Fukuda or something like that. And he was like, "Yeah, that's going to be horrible, and we don't have the budget for it." So he made Gigan, which is not a bad movie at all.
It says it was going to be set in Africa.
Was it? I didn't know that.
That's what it says. I mean, yeah, it's like
Yeah, anyone
like
can write these.
trivia
facts.
on IMDb. So, but you know.
What else do we got?
I mean, there's things to say about this. You got those random dance sequences and music songs,
And
that
they
are
turn
thrown
into
in
fish.
there. Yeah, and they turn because the guy's like
you thought he was, like,
balls.
tripping
He's
balls.
not even. He has like one drink before that happens, and then he's like,
One drink that we see.
And yeah, and then 5 minutes later he's normal and looking
Yeah.
at Godzilla.
Yeah.
You're just like, what's going on?
So, and then, yeah. So then, that sequence is entirely weird too, because it's like, you have this nightclub sequence going on.
Right.
Meanwhile, Hedorah's smoking his ass off when he comes and starts sucking up those smokestacks, and then what happens? Godzilla shows up randomly, and they have a little nearly silent tussle with very limited sound effects.
And he just starts whipping out those goo
and
monsters.
Godzilla starts swinging him around,
Yeah.
and it spews out all this poopy all over the place that murders everybody.
Yes, I love that shot where it goes into the room
Into
of
the
the
room
guys
where they're
playing
all playing
poker, and their
poker.
bodies are just like
Yeah, how did that even
crawling
happen?
out. Yeah, it's so
This
so
movie
weird.
used to terrify me. As a little kid, I'd always want to watch it because, one, it was the only movie that Blockbuster, one of the two Godzilla movies that Blockbuster had, and it was one of the ones that I didn't own. And two, it's like kind of made for kids.
Yeah.
You can't watch this movie as a kid, I think, and not be entertained because it's like freaking bizarre. But when you watch it when you're older, you're like, this movie's so boring and there's nothing's happening. But so I'd always rent it, and then like halfway through I'd regret it. I'd be like, this movie, you're watching people turn into skeletons, and like it was so horrifying. And then there's that scene where they drench that cat in poop. I don't know. I can't even describe. And there's no emotion to it either. Like
That's one of the things I was gonna say is
the
that
ending. Papa. Well,
yelling for his dad and it's just Papa.
Papa. The English, by the way, we're reviewing the English dub. The English, yeah, and it's not much better than the Japanese, but still. The thing that really gets me is that even the story forgot to write emotions into it when you have the dad gets his face burnt off and the kid doesn't care. He's
His
like,
brother
"Oh,
dies
it's
too, and he
alright."
doesn't give a crap
and,
too.
And then it's his brother or his cousin or whoever
Yeah.
that is. And like the whole movie, they're supposed to be like buddies. And the brother's girlfriend's the dancer who keeps singing this annoying theme song, "Save the Earth," and it's technically called "Give Back the Sun," but
Here it says bring back nature.
It's called Give Back the Sun in Japanese.
Oh, I see, like a direct translation.
Yeah, and then okay, so then like at the ending, the girlfriend, the teenagers of Japan are like, okay, we're all screwed because those damn adults polluted, and now we're all gonna die. So let's be 70s rebellious teenagers. We're gonna go up to the top of Mount Fuji. We're gonna have a huge drug party, smoke it up. It'll get lit, and then we'll all die together. And they drive up there. The idea was they all drive up there, and so all the car fumes attract Hedorah, so they actually wind up killing themselves. But and there's this weird part when they're there at Mount Fuji, right? And it starts out in like is it called sepia when it's all brown or whatever?
Sepia.
And it's like all brown with no sound, and then all of a sudden you just have this guitar strum. It's like, let's party, and then it like they all start partying, and it cuts this abrupt shot that I don't know if any of you fellas caught it, but it cuts to it, and it's just like 7 or 8 dead old people. I'm not saying like they're super old. I'm saying they're like dead people that are old, and they're like standing in the dark of this cornfield with like only underlighting, so they look super ominous, and they're just watching these kids from the hill.
I did
and
see
it
that.
cuts to
I
it,
didn't know what it was.
and then it cuts away.
I was like, what is
Then
going
you have to
on?
Explain that. What was that? And then, okay, so then Hedorah shows up because he's attracted by the car fumes, and all the teens are like, we're going to burn him to death. And they all start lighting stuff on fire and trying to kill him, and he's just pooping on them, and they're dying. And the main character's brother, Ken's brother, is like, oh, this is our moment. We're going to beat the Hedorah. And Hedorah just spews Poopy all over him, and it melts him into nothing. And the kid's brother and girlfriend watch it happen. Neither one of them show any emotion. They're like, oh, wow, that was crazy. What else? What's next? And then there's that the lights are flickering at the end, and Hedorah's all distracted by it, and he's like walking towards it, and then something will happen, and he'll walk away, and then they'll turn it back on, and he'll walk back towards it. I don't understand why this movie is as long as it is, because it's like they would do something and then have something change what was happening, and then they would just undo it. So he walks towards it, he walks away, he walks back. They can't get the electric things to work. Godzilla fixes them. Then they break again. They fix them. Then they break again. Godzilla fixes them.
Yep.
This movie's... I hate this movie.
So I think we all had a couple questions while we were watching it. First off, is Godzilla a good guy in these movies?
Okay, so...
In this series of movies?
This is the Showa era, meaning it's the first set of movies, because Emperor of Japan at the time was a guy named Showa, or called Showa. So 1954 is the first one. That's the first Godzilla movie. Kicks it off. He's the villain. He's the villain in 55. 62 is King Kong vs. Godzilla. He's the bad guy in that movie. Mothra vs. Godzilla is 64. He's the bad guy again. Then in 1964, same year, they come out with another movie where Ghidorah, this space dragon, comes down. And basically that movie is about Godzilla learning that, oh god, sometimes there are things worse than humans. Because in that movie you learn that the reason Godzilla's evil is because he's like, well, you guys blew me up with an atomic bomb, and so I hate you. And so then from that point on, Godzilla slowly becomes more of a good guy, where he's like, yeah, I'll help you guys out. And then as it goes, he's like, no, I will help you. And then by this point, this is Godzilla's like peak superhero, where he's like, I'm gonna come in,
floating around.
I'm gonna fly in and save the day, and you're gonna love me.
Bye, Godzilla.
Well, but for Godzilla versus King Kong, neither of them are really the good guy, right?
Neither of them's the good guy, but Kong is
they
more
pretty
of the
heavily
good guy.
imply that Kong is like...
Kong is more of the good... You're supposed to root for Kong.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're supposed to root against Godzilla. Because the only thing Kong does in that movie is, like, at one point he gets frustrated and punches a building. But other than that, he's the good guy. Another fun fact, kid in the movie named Ken. The reason that's so significant is because in Mystery Science Theater movies, anytime they review a giant monster movie, the little kid will always be referred to as Kenny, and it presumably stems from this movie, this kid in this movie, who's in here for no reason other than to be a kid in a movie.
Right.
And he's called Kenny. And a couple times in Gamera movies, the kids will, for whatever reason, their names will be changed from Japanese to Kenny in English. So that's every single time a kid is in a giant monster movie. MST3K or YouTubers like Brandon Tenold or even I do it. The only thing we refer to them as is Kenny.
Or a Shiro.
Kenny's. Or Shiro, if you're talking about that one specific movie.
I was curious, at the beginning of the movie, the kid's playing with Godzilla toys, and he's got a ton of them strung up in the background.
And he's got
Is that
like a Ghidorah strung
Yeah,
up.
is that a thing that they do in the movies? Is they're like, oh man, remember that dragon that destroyed everything? Let's like immortalize him in a toy. That's like us playing with like Hitler action figures or something.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I remember this guy that like was really devastating and bad. Let's play with him.
So in
He was
Godzilla's
fun.
Revenge, it takes place in an alternate universe. This is the one that comes right before this movie, Godzilla's Revenge. Takes place in an alternate universe where the previous Godzilla movies were they were just movies, and the movie is about a little kid who imagines Godzilla as his best friend as he's kidnapped. And then this movie comes out, and it's set in the original timeline, so it's set where Godzilla is an actual creature. And I think they just kind of forgot that the last movie was an alternate universe, because there is no reason that this kid should be playing with toys. And it's like in Godzilla Final Wars, they do it as a joke, which is one of the latest ones. It's like the 50th anniversary celebration. Mm-hmm. They have a kid in the movie just drenched in chocolate, like he's your stereotypical fat
Augustus
American
Flume.
child. That might as well be who he is. I think his name might be Augustus, but I don't think they actually named him. I don't know. But then you have a scene in that movie where he's playing with like a Hedorah toy in Anguirus, and it's like supposed to be making fun of the fact that for whatever reason in this movie, and only in this movie, the kid's like, Godzilla's my favorite. Watch me push him down the slide. And by the way, what kind of tactic is that when you're playing with toys? When you played with superhero action figures, how did you play with them?
They were always fighting each other or fighting something else.
Really? Are you sure you weren't putting them on the slide and watching them slide instead of you sliding?
Strapping him into the swing, pushing
What the
him.
hell was that?
Get high, Godzilla.
I've got one more trivia fact, and then that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Do you know what Hedorah is named in the German version?
King Kong. Something to do with King Kong. Oh, Frankenstein. It's something to do with Frankenstein.
Well, the title of it's Frankenstein's fight against the devil monster.
Okay.
But Hedorah was renamed Hydrox, is what it says.
And that's kind of the thing with Germany is
Germany sucks.
in 1966 there's a movie War of the Gargantuas, which in Japan is a sequel to a Japanese movie called Frankenstein Conquers the World. And because Frankenstein is a German monster, when the movie was distributed under America, they cut out all references to Frankenstein so it would be its own standalone. And Germany took that so personally that every other Godzilla movie that came afterward, the monsters were named Frankenstein and King Kong and whatever else, just so that it would have no reference to Godzilla or anything, because they were like, you guys cut out our monsters, we're going to cut out yours. I don't know why they took it out on the Japanese, but either way,
In
all
the
the
60s?
time, all the time, it was always Frankenstein's something. Frankenstein, the demons from outer space, or whatever.
Frankenstein's fight against the devil monster.
Frankenstein's fighting against the devil monster.
So
It was entertaining, though. It was entertaining.
You
to
thought
watch.
this movie was entertaining?
Oh, it was entertaining
It
because
It's entertaining in the sense that
it's like a goofy bad movie. Like
Yeah.
Jason
Wild.
Goes to Hell, I think, is just such a shitty movie. You
okay,
can't find enjoyment.
there's a
It's so
difference
dry.
between like Mystery Science Theater 3000 could not do an episode in Jason Goes to Hell,
But they
Right.
could do one on this.
but they could do
Yeah.
one on this.
Right.
of
That's a
course.
good way. That's a good way to look at it.
That's like two different versions.
Two
I
of
guess-
versions of bad movies.
I guess
yeah.
kind of the problem is, for me anyways, is other than like the one time when I watched this with Jackson, I'm always watching this movie alone by myself, and that is no fun. This movie's so boring. So I guess maybe if
Yeah.
I had the time to sit down and watch it with you guys, maybe I'd be like, oh yeah, it's fun.
I think it's better to laugh at.
Yeah,
it is
for
better
sure.
to laugh at, but when you're watching it all alone and you've seen it before, you're like,
This again.
yeah.
So I'm also curious. I know you fight with your fans a lot about what movies are good and what ones are bad. Do the fans like this movie, or is there like a big portion of people that enjoy this?
For the longest time, everyone hated this movie. And then a couple years ago, I don't know why, they just started to like turn around on it and be like, no, it's an artistic masterpiece. And then the director died, and when the director died, everyone was like, this movie's awesome. I love this movie. Not everyone. There's still a lot of people who are like, this movie sucks. This movie's as poopy as the villain. But then you have a lot of people now who are like, no, this is one of the artistic, it's a masterpiece. And then you have a fair portion of people who are like, I like this movie purely because it's insane.
Well, it has a 6 out of 10 on IMDb.
That's too
Probably,
high. I think I rated it a 4 out of 10 in Godzilla Fawn.
Of our movies, I think that's going to be the second highest. I think Dalton's is going to be the highest rated movie that we talked
Sadly.
about. Because
It's got
mine was like a 4 point something.
His has a 7.4.
Yep, that's highest.
and 82% on Rotten Tomatoes as well.
Yeah, and Alex's is through the floor with how low it's rated.
Yeah, where's Jason Goes to Hell?
I
Because
mean,
I think yours is actually kind of...
mine's like a 4 something, I swear.
Yeah, I thought it was like a 4.2 or something like that.
4.3.
You're close.
Yeah.
Close.
So it goes Alex, me, Derek, Dalton.
Anyway, yeah.
I
so-
mean,
I think you guys found this movie more enjoyable than I do.
but we were all sitting here talking, and to be honest, none of us paid 100% attention.
Yeah, these
to
guys
what
were doing
was
homework and I was
happening.
playing on my phone.
Yeah, but I mean, we
I
we looked up enough
Yeah.
to know.
You
what
saw
was
the part
going
when
on.
Godzilla flies, and that's all you need.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Classic.
You made sure I paid
Legendary.
attention
I
for
made
that
sure.
part, yeah.
You
Anyway.
can't miss that.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah.
that one. All right,
That's-
Dalton, tell us about your highly regarded movie.
But Dalton's movies probably have some controversy.
You know what's
'Cause
super
probably
controversial
does.
about it?
His Most Thankful movie, we had a little bit of discussion about. Kyle did, at least.
Most Thankful,
Yeah,
Winter Soldier.
yeah.
I mean, I like.
Not
Winter
that you hated it. I'm
No,
not
yeah,
saying you
I liked
hated
Winter
it,
Soldier
but-
a lot. I think
He didn't like the first one.
Yeah, the first one, Captain.
And
Right,
he didn't like
America's
Captain
terrible.
Avengers either.
Yeah.
Because he's a goober.
He's a little goober head.
But anyway, this seems to have, like, his... Well, you go ahead.
Well, hold on. Before you say what this movie is, I want to just point out that Dalton loves every movie he's
Yes.
ever seen. It's so difficult for him to find a movie that he hates. So when he told us that this was the movie that he hates, like, above all other movies, we were all really expecting, like, if Dalton loves everything, what does he hate? Like, what could this possibly be? And
Yeah.
that movie is what?
It's the never-ending story. And the whole controversy thing you were just talking about, too. I was talking to a coworker, and he's like, you hated that movie?
Wait, which one?
He's the new guy.
Oh, okay.
And he was just like, you hated it? I was like, yeah, I couldn't stand it. And he was like, oh, and he started talking about it. I think people like it because of the nostalgia.
It's possible.
Yeah, it's like people
And-
with the Raimi Spider-Man movies.
Shut your mouth.
All right. Anyways, so basically, the movie's about a kid named Bastion. I think that's his name.
Bastion?
Bastion.
Is that really his name?
That's the one that reads the book. That's
Yeah.
the kid that reads
He's
the book.
named after an Overwatch character.
Oh my god.
Oh, don't even. But yeah, he basically goes into a library to get away from some bullies.
Yeah.
Is it a
Takes the
library?
book.
'Cause that
Or
guy-
like some
Library,
bookstore or
bookstore,
something.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy's immediately like, no kids allowed, get out of my library.
Yeah, something like
The
that.
Kids Allowed Library.
It was also more of like, it wasn't like, get out of my library. It was like, oh, kids are only allowed to watch TV now.
Yeah.
I was like,
Or
guys,
he's
aren't
like-
you supposed to be
the
like, yes,
first-
come in, read
The
books?
first
Yeah,
thing
exactly.
he says is like, you're running from someone, aren't you? You're in danger. And the kid's like, yeah, these bullies from school. And he goes, don't you know there's an arcade across the street you could have hid in? You could have hid in? Get out of my place.
Right, and so he takes the book. He sees it. He takes it. Does he go into the school attic? Is that where he goes? Does he go? He goes into the attic. Was it? I think.
Yeah.
No, that's later. He like stoops away into like a back office of the school for the
Right,
beginning.
and so-
then he winds up in an attic later. It's like his house though.
Right, so he's in this attic. He starts reading the book, and it's about a place, Fantasia.
Fantasia.
I think so he's Fantasia, and it's in danger from the nothing. And it's basically a Treyu's the
hero.
All
Yeah.
right,
The heroes.
He is the bird this city deserves.
yeah. So the book's about Atreyu trying to like save Fantasia,
from
right?
Nothing. Yeah.
And That's what it's about. It's
I
just
mean,
saving Fantasia.
It's such an intricate movie. You could never guess what Fantasia is.
Fantasyland.
It's definitely not the realm of human fantasy. And what is the nothing? Oh, lack of imagination. What?
It's
Don't
such
blow
a
my
deep
mind too
movie.
much. Yeah.
This movie is almost as deep as Godzilla vs. Hedorah. Like, I still don't know what the message of that movie is. Is it telling me to pollute? Is that what it was trying to say?
So yeah, basically, the kingdom needs a
They
human
need-
child to save them.
They need a human
And
child
then-
to rename Fantasia. The
Right.
Queen Fantasia, who will then rename the
And then
place.
Yeah.
the kid Bastion figures out that the book's like attributed to him,
It's calling to him, yeah.
and then he wonders if like he's the reason he's what Fantasia needs to survive or whatever.
And he
Yeah,
learns
no.
it at one point too. Like the characters in the book straight up tell him, "We need you to
he doesn't
just
learn it. They have to
Yeah, they
talk
spell
to
it out for
They
him,
tell
yeah.
him, they like, you need to say the name so that our place doesn't die. And he like shuts the book and he's like, I'm not gonna do it. This is insane. Why don't you just say the name?
Well, it also gets to the point where they're like, it's the guy reading this story. And he's like, well, that couldn't be me. And they're like, that guy who was being chased by bullies earlier in the movie that's now reading the story. And he's like, it just can't be me. I'm like, fuck's sake, dude, what?
And he even heard from the guy. He even heard from the book owner who was like, listen, if you take this book, it has supernatural powers. It's dangerous. And the kid's like, that's impossible that they're talking to me.
I feel like I play along with books myself. I would just been like, if it was me, I would have named her Darlie. It would have been like,
Darlie?
game over. He named her. I would have just done it halfway through the story. They're like, they need a new name. And I'm like, oh man, a fun name would have been Kinky Carrie.
The kingdom's now called the Kinky Carrie Kingdom.
Oh, the KKK.
Oh my god. the thing with this movie, the way I can describe it is, this movie is if Flash Gordon was made for kids, but it was also incredibly boring. Because it's got the same visuals.
Yeah.
It's got the same fantasy elements. There's like a swampy, muddy scene. That horse, they seriously definitely drowned a real horse. Pull that up. Look at that.
I found a picture of it. I was looking
They
through
straight
that.
put a real horse
like going.
neck deep in mud.
Yeah. Where is it? This one?
And the
Yeah.
puppets in this
Yeah.
movie all look off-putting and creepy.
I was scared to death when I was a kid. I was scared to death of the freaking suck dragon, dude.
The rock one is the one that got me.
Dude, I remember having a nightmare about that.
If I'm being honest, I thought the visuals in this movie were the only thing that were decent.
They looked so off-putting.
This
and
was an
creepy to
80s
me.
movie, though.
Yeah, I know.
You
but it
watch
was-
some of the Godzilla movies from the 80s and you'll be like, yeah, this is good practical special effects. Watch this movie and you're like, this freaks me out. This doesn't look right.
Yeah, no, I can see that, and I do remember seeing pictures of this dragon and always thinking it was like creepy as hell.
But
Maybe.
there's similar stuff that I've seen before that it was even newer, like 90s, that looked the same.
I'm thinking of like Flash Gordon has like the most similar visuals that I can think of.
There's another one, but I can't think of it now. I just want to look it up for reference.
I'm pulling up some decent special effects you guys can.
Well, what about Labyrinth? Didn't Labyrinth have like
Labyrinth?
Labyrinth?
I never saw that one though.
Let me see. I'm almost guarantee you it did. Labyrinth.
I feel like I remember somewhere there was
With,
like an
David
actual.
Oh yeah.
There was an actual Falcor like ride that you could go on, and I
it looked
remember seeing.
identical.
Yeah, I remember seeing pictures of it.
Yeah.
and
See, look
being
at
terrified.
like that.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, even
from
that's
Labyrinth.
off-putting and creepy.
That looks
Right.
a lot like it.
See, like that.
Yeah, it looked
This is from the
things
1980s.
really similar.
Look at these
And
special
this
effects.
was
Right.
from
Practical effects.
'86.
Looks good.
This one was in '86. People love this movie.
This is in '89, and it looks good.
Oh, that's trash. No, I'm just kidding.
This movie sucks, Dalton.
But yeah.
I am pissed off at you for picking such a bad movie.
Look,
I'm sorry.
It's. I didn't think it was the worst movie ever made. I thought it was stupid, but it's also not. It's not like terrible. I can see why people would like it, and
I
I
can't.
think that the visuals
They're
are fine. I think that the visuals are entertaining to look at.
It's an '80s
interesting.
kids movie. That's
It
all
is.
it is,
Yeah, it's-
really.
And
Iron Giant's a 90s kid movie, and it's
It
awesome.
came out in '99. It's basically a 2000s.
The towers hadn't fallen yet. It's the 90s.
Oh my god!
Jeez.
All right, fair.
It's not a movie that I ever would have been into. I've never been a fantasy kind of guy.
You like Flash Gordon.
Yeah, but Flash Gordon's more sci-fi than it is fantasy. Like, it's fantasy, but it's about, like, a space empire and a guy going to space. And yeah, I mean, the worlds that they go to are fantasy-like, but places like Endor and Star Wars I've never been into, and
I don't know what that is.
it's the Ewok
Ewoks.
planet.
Okay.
And Lord of the Rings, I've never been into that, and for the most part, like,
King
Harry
Kong
Potter
movies.
I've always been alright with. Yeah, King Kong is perfect. I've never enjoyed those.
But I like those, and they're fantasy, and I hate this.
But yeah, I'm just saying, as a kid, I probably wouldn't have been into it either. But if anything were to keep my attention as a kid, it would have been the visuals in this movie. Even if some of them would have probably scared me, like
This would have scared me to death.
Falcor the Suck Dragon.
Falcor
Yeah,
the
see,
Suck Dragon.
when you're
I
a
don't
kid,
even
though,
know
you
it.
like some of the dialogue, it just goes over your head. Like you don't
Suck
care.
Dragon.
But
Then you watch
but
the
then
Super
I
Bowl.
watched a clip today, and it was Atreyu talking to Falcor or whatever.
Falcor, it's his first appearance.
And he's just like, oh, I like children, and you're just like, what?
And the kid's like,
is
"Are you
this?
gonna eat me?" And he doesn't give him a response either.
He's like, oh, my ears itchy.
"Show him." The kid's like,
Just a scratcher I can't
"Are you
get.
gonna eat me?" And he's like, "Come closer to me so you can be my friend."
Yeah, like Little Red Riding Hood shit right there.
Yeah.
Now, I know this movie is about, like, imagination, and it's promoting use of imagination, but, like, what drugs were you on when you made this? Don't tell me you were
It was the
imagining.
80s.
I closed my
True.
eyes
They
and
were on
They
imagined
were on cocaine. in
Falcor, the
80s.
huge monster-headed dragon. Like, you're on something.
And it's just like some of the
Back up.
names, like the Nothing. You couldn't have thought of anything
yeah,
more
Nothing.
creative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously. And then my favorite part is at the end of the movie. Fantasia's being destroyed because the kid refuses to say his mom's name. And he even says it earlier in the movie. He goes, "Oh, they need a new name? My mom's got a lovely name." And then he doesn't say it. So then there's scenes like leading up to that where he'll be like, "What's going on?" And the characters will react to him talking out loud.
Yep.
They'll be like, "How are they doing that? This kid's an idiot." And then in the end, right, the world of Fantasia is ending, and by extension, his world is also being like trees are flying through his windows and stuff.
Somehow.
And the girl, the Queen Fantasia explains it as, "We are in a story that is being read by a child who is in a story that is being watched by the viewers watching this movie." So
It's meta
anything that
as
happens
fuck.
to us happens to him, and he's been here with us the whole time, just like how they've been here with him the whole time. And the kid's still like, "I don't understand." The Fantasia is destroyed. He has a one-on-one, face-to-face meeting with the creepy queen girl who's like, "Oh, it's okay. Fantasia lives inside of you. Just write the next story and it'll be all good." And so he's like, "All right." Instead of doing like the good thing, which is like, "I'm gonna wish everything back to the way it was," this kid wishes the entire Fantasia back, except he keeps Atreyu killed off and he replaces Atreyu. So the way I can describe this is in the Santa Claus 3 with Tim Allen.
What?
The Santa Claus, the Jack Frost learns that he became Santa Claus by knocking Santa off the roof and then putting the clothes on or whatever he does. So then Jack Frost does that in the past, and it changes everything in the present. Tim Allen still retains his memories, but now he has to watch his wife be married to Jack Frost, and his child refer to Jack Frost as dad or whatever, and he has to watch like his whole world change. That's what this kid does to poor old Atreyu, and he's like, "Nope, I'm the new Atreyu, the other Atreyu is gone, and everyone will remember me as Atreyu." Why wouldn't you just wish him back into existence and be friends with him?
He's
And
a
then-
selfish little shit.
And then this kid decides, all right, now that I've got the power of Fantasia, the way I'm going to use it is by killing my bullies, by using the Suck Dragon to murder my bullies. And you have this scene of him just like chasing them with the Suck Dragon through the streets of whatever city. And then it finally ends with like, But that was all make-believe. His real adventures continued the next morning when he went to school. But that's a story for another day.
And then they come out with the Never-Ending Story 2.
And Neverending Story 3.
Oh, also, fun fact, take it away, Dalton. What's the deal with the Never-Ending Stories title?
Oh.
Rage
The
mode activated.
space. Neverending is one word. Story is also spaced out.
What?
Like, if you look it up,
Yeah, I know, I'm looking at it right. I know what you're trying to say, but it didn't come out that way.
Never ending is
is one word.
one word when it should be two. It's just because you don't have imagination, Dalton. You can't imagine the space.
We did have imaginations, though.
Yeah, we watched that SpongeBob episode multiple times.
Imagination.
Yeah.
I hated this movie. I found this movie to be so boring. And that's the movie.
Alright, well, we've worked down to what is universally hailed as one of the absolute worst movies ever made. Alex, let them know what movie you picked as the movie you're not thankful for.
Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Oh, I like how you did the quotes.
Yeah.
The listeners can't see that, but I appreciated it.
Originally seen as the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version, still completely unbearable to watch. It's like it's fun to watch it with the commentary,
Yeah.
but it's just like as far as describing the story, like the only thing I can say is it's this family with a kid and their dog, and they're trying to go on vacation somewhere. They take a wrong turn. They end up at this house, and we meet.
It's like a motel, because
Master wouldn't like you to stay.
Yeah,
This is where we meet.
it's a motel.
We meet Torgo, and they're trying to ask directions from Torgo, and I don't remember what he says, but or they don't want to ask him directions. They just want to see if they can stay there or something because the kid's tired.
Yeah.
They can't get the car started, so they're stuck there. Oops, sorry. They can't get the car started, so they're stuck there, and so they have to stay there anyway. So Torgo brings their bags inside, and it turns out he keeps talking about this master that they never meet, and they're like, oh, what do you mean? And then they're like, oh, is the master dead? And he's like, no, wait, that you know it. And
That's a spot-on Torgo impression.
yeah.
That was good.
For some reason, the dog gets up and runs away and dies, and they're all stuck there. And Torgo's very attracted to the wife,
Yeah.
and he wants the wife for his own because the master, I guess, when people stay there, he takes the women for his own. So he's I don't know how many wives he has.
Yeah, 5
4 or 5, 5 or 6.
He's 5, and
like a
this
cold
was supposed to be
circle.
the 6th.
Something like
he
that.
Torgo says something like, "You already have 5 wives. Why
Yeah.
can't
You
Torgo have
already
one?"
have 5 wives. Yeah, so Torgo doesn't make any sense. They don't explain anything. He's got these massive round thighs, and they don't explain it.
It's his knees.
He stumbles around everywhere and with his weird cane, and then he
Got the
talks.
limpy hand.
Yeah, he shakes and he can't
He's like
it's
that.
hard to.
He's like,
Scary movie too.
I was gonna say, that's exactly what he's like with that baby hands. My strong arm.
Yeah, and then he talks weird like in the
Like a
the way
robot.
that was- yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It's so I think it came out in '66, so it's pretty old, and it's not even cheesy. It's just bad.
Yeah, it's
The
bad.
opening scene is 5 minutes of them just driving, and that's it.
Yeah.
And then there's the couple that make out in the car, and it goes nowhere. They're making out in the car,
guys
and
are
then
still here?
the family drives away, drives past them, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they stop making out, and they're like, "Well, I wonder where they're going. There's nothing up that road." And then they just get right back to making out, and then that's I don't know, probably midday. And then there's another scene where it's midnight, and then the cop pulls up and he's oh, you two here? Because I think he pulls him over the first time.
Yeah.
The cop.
Yeah, he tells him to get out of there, and they just go up the road, I guess.
Barely.
Keep
up there,
going.
too.
And then they're there for 12 hours just baking out, and then he comes by and is like, "You two again?" I thought I told you to like get lost or something.
This movie's so boring that even the Mystery Science Theater commentary are reduced to just saying the movie's title over and over again.
At the beginning scene, they don't have anything to go off of, so they're like,
talk about.
yeah, so they're like, Manos. The Hands of Fate. Mm-hmm.
It's because, and then there's like, this movie has the opposite problem of My Movie, where My Movie had no soundtrack. This movie only has like that weird.
Oh, Torgo's theme is just so good,
I want
though.
to find Torgo's theme.
Torgo's the most sympathetic character ever to be put to film.
Whoa.
10 minutes of Torgo's theme.
Hell yes. There's 10 minutes of this.
Yeah.
Can you overlay this just over and over again as the background soundtrack on our podcast?
This took them 10 minutes to write.
Gee, I hope it didn't take them a full 10 minutes to get that.
To write and record.
Squeak out squeak out a couple notes. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, perfect. Now loop that, and someone just smash the piano.
We'll get a little, we'll get a little chord, like a little light chord in the background on the one of every beat, and then that's it. That's all we need.
Boom,
yeah.
Torgo.
Torgo's theme.
They played it once and they just looped it for 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
The real one is dun, 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 and then they just looped it over.
They played it like twice or something. But yeah, no, there's like the scene where he's going to bring the bags inside, and he's standing there and it's quiet, and then as soon as he starts walking, it plays the music, and then they stop it like immediately. It's silence. He's like picking up the bags and talking to the guy or whatever, and then he teleports like 5 feet away from the car, starts walking again. They play the theme, and then he like walks through the house and it stops. It's so bad. Yeah.
I mean, this is like literally when someone says like a bad movie, this is what you picture in your head as a bad movie. Is like redubbed audio to characters that are speaking the same language.
Justice League 2017.
And you've got like the worst sound and picture quality you can possibly imagine.
I like how you can still hear VHS fuzz.
This is like the 1960s, but this is like bad quality for the 1960s. Mm-hmm. This is terrible, and just none of it makes any sense. He's got like 5 wives that just start fighting out of nowhere.
Are they like tied up also?
Yeah, they're tied up. They're like asleep until like he wakes up, and then he wakes them up. And then they have a weird cat fight. What's that?
Yeah.
Are they vampires?
No, it's just a cult. It's like a weird
cult thing. But then, like, they all start fighting because they all want to be the master's wife. He's like, there can only be one of us, and they start having a cat fight or whatever. And yeah, and some of the funniest scenes are when Torgo's like touching the girl, like
caressing her.
Yeah, she sits there for like 30 seconds while he's like reaching for her,
and then she just deals with
it. Yeah, she deals with it for like a good solid 10 seconds, and then all of a sudden
touching her and she's just watching.
I'm gonna tell my husband. One of the things that bugged me the most is the pauses between sentences.
Yeah.
They'd be talking to each other, and then they'd start talking like back, and I guess it really affects me because of our show. Like, we're trying to avoid that even though we have a script.
Yeah.
And they did it a ton in the movie. And I was just like, is it frozen? What's going on?
Oh, and you know the other problem? The repeated dialogue.
It's normally Torgo that does that. Like, the master won't like that you're here. He's not dead. He's not dead. He won't like that you're here. He does it like forward once and then reverse order again.
Yeah, one of the first things he said is like, I forgot what he said.
Yeah, I don't know.
They make Torgo. I don't know.
No, they joke about it. I can't remember though.
He says something like the master's away. You can stay here. The master's away. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something like that. It's like, why?
It's like, did they cut to different camera angles? So they just like, all right, pick up from the last line, fella, and they kept.
Not even that. Yeah, because he would have been starting like.
You can stay here. Yeah. He would have said that twice, but he said the master. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The part where the kid goes missing, and they start to look for her, and the mom walks up to the door, barely opens it, looks like with her one eye. Oh, she didn't go in there, even though She went in there.
Yeah, we watched her go in there.
Oh, did you guys know that this entire film was shot with a handheld camera that could only record 32 seconds of film at a time?
Oh my god.
Well, that's probably why there was a ton of
And it was
repeats
also
then.
shot without sound, and all the lines were dubbed later by 2 men and 1 woman.
Yes, that's
You can tell that
blatantly
there's-
obvious.
Yeah, it is.
There's
yeah.
like certain Godzilla movies where it'll be like, hey, why am I hearing the same guy's voice when he's not on screen? And then you'll realize, oh, it's because they have like 4 or 5 voice actors. But it's never like you got the same guy doing the same voice having a conversation with himself like you have in this movie.
Now, here's... Maybe, if I was the dumbest person on earth, maybe you could have fooled me, except for the daughter. Whenever she talks, it's clearly an adult woman going, Mommy? Like, they make their voice a little different to play the daughter, but it still sounds like an adult woman. And I was like, 100%, the first line I heard from the daughter, I was like, oh, this is completely redubbed dialogue. Like, there's no way that this was actually what was recorded.
I find it to be unsettling when they film a movie and they have them speaking English and then they dub English back over it. I don't like watching their mouths say words that I recognize and then hearing the words off. I can handle it if the mouths are totally off because
Like
it's
it's a Japanese
like if
movie.
it's a different language. But then when it's this, I'm like, oh no!
Right.
Just record with it.
It's like you need to
Audio.
pause it and let the video catch up to the audio
Yeah.
or something, but... So there's a movie that I've seen that Mystery Science Theater did, but I haven't seen the Mystery Science Theater version of it, called The Beast of Yucca Flats. And it's like this, where it's like a really terrible movie, like a horror movie, where they had to redub the dialogue, but they didn't match it to the mouths. And the way they got around that was whoever was talking, their back was always to the camera, 100% of the
Why have
movie.
you seen that movie?
It was just in like a pack of these like shitty B horror movies that we watched.
So I've seen it too.
No, you haven't.
Huh.
But yeah, it was
Every time they're talking.
every single time whoever was talking, it was the back of their head, and the people in front of them who were reacting to the dialogue was what you saw, so that they never had to dub over the like actual lips moving.
I remember as a kid, we used to watch Mystery Science Theater when we'd go to sleep.
Yeah.
And even this episode, when I'd get to it, I'd be like, no way I have to watch this one. And I was like, I'd always want to skip it, because even the Mystery Science, I'm like, this is still boring.
I think it's hilarious. I think their jokes are so funny.
I think
Yeah,
their
it's
jokes
some
are funny,
funny
but it's like, I don't think it saves it. I usually like when the movie they're watching is entertaining enough on its own, and
Yeah.
they're making fun of it. But this, I'm like, no way could I actually sit down and watch the real Manos, The Hands of Fate.
No way. Mm-mm.
We do own a copy of it without
You
the
guys
Mystery
really?
Science Theater, yeah.
I don't know why.
It was a joke gift for Dad,
I
because
figured.
he always like roasts the movie as being one of the worst ever
Oh.
made, so someone
I
got him the
figured.
like undubbed copy where it's like the actual movie.
This is the guy making out with the girl in the convertible is wearing a wedding ring.
Maybe they're married. Maybe he's a player.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
I didn't get that joke.
It's it's an ad campaign.
Wait, so it says here after they had a premiere, obviously. It says a middle-aged woman attacked Harold P. Warren, which I think was the director. Yeah, he was the director, Harold P. Warren, with her purse, and she was upset that Debbie, the little girl, became one of the master's wives at the end. Did they say that she became one of the wives?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I don't. The only bit of the end that I remember is Torgo is dead, and the husband, the dad, is the new Torgo, and he's like standing at the front door being like,
yeah.
"May I take your bags?" Like he's the new Torgo. But I don't remember the. I remember them trying to kill the daughter, but I don't remember whether or not the daughter was.
He said he once stated
A
that
wife.
he left Torgo's fate ambiguous on purpose. If the film was a hit, the sequel was
God.
the sequel was to involve Torgo's return. The sequel
Hell
was
yeah.
never written until this year. Or actually, wasn't it the Return of Manos?
2015 was the Torgo movie, and then 2018 was Manos 2.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it.
Insane.
I didn't realize that. I knew the 2015 one. I didn't know they made one this year.
This year,
May.
yes, in May.
And they look
Never even heard of
equally
it.
as bad with just better video quality.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
It's
I
just
would actually-
Manos, the Hands of Fate of today.
I actually
I don't
promise
know
you
if
this.
it's-
I would be able to sit through Manos, the Hands of Fate more easily than I would be able to sit through these new ones. Because these new ones just look like really shitty porn.
Yeah, they're like cringy.
Like,
It's like
really,
cringy.
really bad.
So I would bet that in like 1966 this was like absolute cringe.
Yeah.
But like right now it's less so like
It's more of like a
cringe
movie
and-
that you sit down and watch to make fun of with your friends.
yeah, and you're like this
Whereas
is god
like,
awful.
the
Like
other
The
ones,
Room.
it's not possible.
This movie's
Yeah.
kind of achieved The Room status.
Yeah.
Or I guess The Room has achieved Manos status.
Yeah,
Good old Torgo. He just needed a life of his own.
that's all he wanted. If
Poor
the master
guy.
wasn't such a selfish
Such a-
prick.
Such a soy boy bed cuck, maybe.
So
Then Torgo would have been
yeah, and
happy.
fun fact: the guy that played the master, Tom Naiman,
Naaman?
he plays the master in the 2018 one.
Where
Which is
Manos
52
is actually
years
shown,
later.
apparently.
Where what?
Didn't it say? Isn't there a credit for the actual Manos in the sequel?
Because
Because Manos is like a concept in this movie. It's like the cult of Manos, led by the Master, who is not Manos.
Yeah, it does.
But in
And you-
Manos Returns, one of them, I swear, maybe
This-
it's the Torgo movie.
You know, this movie is
is
like
this?
if Strange Brew
Oh.
had just been the movie that the Mackenzie brothers had made, rather than
Yeah.
than
Yeah,
switching to
Manos,
the
there
real
he
film.
is.
As
Well,
Jackson
that's
name.
the
Oh,
actor's
yeah, okay.
name.
That was weird for a
Yep.
second.
So Manos is in the 2015 Torgo movie.
Speaking of Strange
Manos:
Brew,
The Rise of Torgo.
Also,
it's
one
called.
more thing. If you translate the title, it's Hands, the Hands of Fate, because Manos in Spanish is hands.
nice.
Classic.
But anyway, yeah.
Speaking of Strange Brew, we'll be reviewing that one on tomorrow's episode of the podcast.
Along with Shrek, Fast and Furious.
Yeah, because
No, that
we
was
missed
last
those.
week.
We
Oh.
missed those
Oh.
last week, so we're gonna have
Oh,
to make up for it.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry, guys.
Shrek.
The
Let's throw
entire
Transformers in
MCU.
there for good measure.
Transformers, sure.
Ghost
Because Bumblebee's
Hunters.
coming up.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
Ghost Hunters. That's what you said.
Yeah, that's
Ghost
I was like, what's
Hunters.
the other one?
We're reviewing every movie ever made tomorrow.
We're gonna get through them all, because we've been lacking and we gotta catch up.
yeah,
so.
but especially Scary Movie 4.
Oddly specific.
Yep. And
Yeah.
that's a podcast.
Um,
Who picked the worst movie?
I did.
Okay, we'll do
I
two
did.
versions. Who picked the most watchable worst movie, and who picked the worst movie? Dalton has my vote for the worst movie.
Dalton's is the worst movie.
Yeah, I hated that.
I'm voting for Kyle's as the worst
Mine-
movie.
I can't give it to anybody else because I can sit down and watch all of your guys' movies. I cannot stand Jason Goes to Hell. I think that Derek had the best, like, most watchable worst movie.
I would
Yeah, I agree
I
with
think
that.
that there was
Godzilla's the most watchable.
enough like meme stuff in there that I could handle it. Dalton's was like, if I just shut my brain off, I can survive having that on my TV. It's not gonna like kill me. And Alex's again has like
Kill me.
some like meme nature to it, where it's like if I've got friends in the room, I can handle watching
Yeah.
Manos.
But it's definitely worse than Godzilla. So
Yeah.
I feel like I could watch.
Yeah, the Godzilla one's probably the most
Most
watchable
watchable.
awful movie,
Right.
but
Yeah. I think
I have to-
Kyle's
I-
is the worst.
I have to give it to my own movie
I have to
because
give it to the Neverending
Jason
Story.
Goes to Hell is
Because
so fucking terrible.
The Neverending Story is like what, 2 hours maybe? It felt like an eternity.
It did feel like it was forever.
It was truly a never-ending story, and I wanted it to be over.
I haven't seen your movie, so
Yeah.
I can't say.
You saw yours.
I've seen everyone's.
except for mine. Yeah.
Except for
well,
yours.
you saw half of Manos, but
That was enough.
It's
Yeah,
enough.
that's all you
we
need.
saw most of it. I know we got to the girls fighting for sure.
Yes, we did.
That's one of the few things I remembered about that movie too.
Yeah.
Is that there was one scene when the girls fight.
And he says that joke about him wishing it was shirts versus skins. Actually,
Yeah.
there's a it says here. Oh, sorry. That the women that they used for the master's wives were played by a group of models from Mannequin Manor, so they were all models. That's probably where
That
all their
explains why their bad acting
$19,000
came from.
budget goes.
That's why they were
They
such
paid
bad actors.
$19,000 for all those.
The five
Yeah.
five Manos.
If this
wives.
movie, along with Wonder Woman,
Matt
taught me
Master
anything,
wives.
it's that models should not be actresses.
So those are the movies that we are not thankful for on this day of thank.
What movies are you not thankful for?
And rate our movies. If you haven't watched some of our movies,
Don't.
makes sense. Don't. Yeah. If you've never heard of Manus, the Hands of Fate, that's fine.
Check at least watch the Mystery Science Theater episode. That
Yeah.
one's worth a watch.
I agree. Yeah, but
You should probably get around to watching Jason Goes to Hell at some point, though, because it's a good one.
Terrible. Let us know what your not thankful for movies are, and if some of them are strikingly terrible, then we might actually watch them. Because I think that would be fun. If there's one that sounds terrible enough, then I'll give it a watch.
Tune in next week for The Amazing Spider-Man.
Well, we gotta do the outro.
Click on this side of the screen to see some sexy the last episode.
The sexy,
The
is
sexy,
the
the
last
last
episode.
episode.
And this side to watch the playlist.
And click in the
What's
middle.
that button in the middle? What does it do?
Click that subscribe button!
There you go.
And make
boys.
sure you smash that bell icon. And also, while you're at it, subscribe to D-Man 1954.
Censor that. Censor that.
bleep.
Let the record show that I don't support a censoring of that.
Blur it.
Cut that entire part. Cut it.
All right, that's the episode. Thanks for watching, guys.